Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Ryan Votzek with Lion Bold, and I have here today Steve Leslie, who is a Grammy Award-Winning Songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee, and multiple BMI Award-Winning Songwriter. And, I've just met him, but we've built this friendship and we've been working on songwriting together. And just a couple weeks ago, we were working on one of my songs, and the synergy, his advice, just his experience in songwriting in the music industry was just so awesome. We wanted to document it and get it on tape so that you guys can benefit just from watching the process. And so, disclaimer, this song we already talked about and went over, but we just want to recreate that for you guys because I think there's a lot of value. And then in future videos, we're going to do this more in real time with new songs so that you can see just Steve's mind in action, just critiquing these songs that I've written, and hopefully you can learn something along the way. So here we have Steve Leslie. How's it going?
Good, Ryan. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
We
I appreciate
hopefully
it.
have as much fun as we did the first time.
Yeah. So, I mean, it might go quick because we've already done this once on this exact song, but you might have some new ideas too. And so let's just dive right in, huh?
That's great. Will you play it for me so I can
Yeah, absolutely.
watch it go down and listen to it at the same time? It really helps to have the printed lyric sheet, which is great. You sent me that.
Yeah.
The file, I'm looking at it. This is version 1 that you did. And I'm way better at sort of looking at it and hearing it for the first time. And it'll be kind of like that again because I don't really remember what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Good thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'll play it for you right now. This is my pop song. How can I forget about our drive to Coachella in the weekends, dancing with our friends? Those times I hold on to, the nights that I was holding you. Take me back to the summer where we lay by the ocean, sun-kissed. By the end of the day, my eyes are only yours, dear, and it stayed the same through all the years. We were stupid and young, in and out of our love. Now you're calling this off, breaking it up, doing that stuff again. I know you think I'm crazy, think you can't live without me. If you leave, I'd be empty. Even with you, it's harder to breathe. You're so hard to read. You're taking over me. The lights start to fade. You're all that I crave. You're taking over me. Midnight undercover, getting close to each other. Blue eyes wide open as the day, but the nights are getting longer, and my mind starts to wander to you. So why don't you come over since we're both sober? I know that we both made mistakes in the past, but this time, girl, I don't want to. I'm sick and tired of the things we do. When I'm with you, it's harder to breathe. You're so hard to read. You're taking over me. The lights start to fade. You're all that I crave. You're taking over me. Yeah, I think we'd be going strong and still getting along, instead of burning up the past. If we kept all the months we missed, it wouldn't be like this and all this pain. When I'm with you, it's harder to breathe. You're so hard to read. You're taking over me. The lights start to fade. You're all that I crave. You're taking over. When I'm with you, it's harder to breathe. You're so hard to read. You're taking over me. The lights start to fade. You're all that I crave. You're taking over me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's high.
My vision there is like to stack it in octaves, you know, so it's not so awkward.
Good. Yeah, it's really done well.
Thanks,
I
man.
love the title, Taking Over Me.
Yeah.
I think every time we heard this, it's like it's a really unique title. I mean, it's not one of those get it titles, you know. It's not a play on words. It's not a metaphor for something else. It's just it's the end of a sentence, really, end of a thought. You can't just, I don't think you can just have it by itself taking over me. You have to sort of set it up, either put a sentence in front of it or a sentence behind it. I like those kind of titles a lot. It makes you wonder what's this about rather than having the whole idea right there on the page. You know, I can't live without you, period. Taking over me. What is that?
There's some mystery there, huh?
How can I forget about our drive to Coachella? Love that word. It just pops. You wonder, and the weekends dancing with our friends. It's those times that I hold on to, the nights that I was holding you. First of all, when it's first going down, I just started highlighting stuff, you know, and asterixing stuff that I would, you know, want to comment about. So,
Yeah.
you know, a couple times through might actually be the better plan, but obviously it's a very rhythmic.
Yeah.
You're a drummer too, aren't you?
I am.
Aren't you a drummer? Yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell. And there's a tendency in now pop music to be very wordy and to put all the words on top of a more elaborate melody rhythmically, and I think that's hip and that's okay. I read somewhere that rhythm is revolution, and I think that's a great way of talking about different generations claim to what they want to say and how they want to say it. Rhythm is revolution.
Versus before where they'd hang on words and really like sing out longer vowels.
Yeah. Well, and when I was having hits, you know, it was not to say it can't happen again, but what was what was the common way of doing that, of writing, was more conversational. At least in country music, and probably across the board for a long time. It was how you sang it how you would say it. You would say, "How can I forget about our drive to Coachella?" You'd say, "How could I forget about our drive to Coachella?"
Yeah. But that's that hip hop influence.
You know, it's how you would say it with the same sentiment and the same sound as you would say it, you know. And so I have to kind of get used to the fact that it's really more rhythm based, and that's okay with me as long as it's not misset. I think the real challenge is to write rhythmic lyrics that aren't misset.
Maybe for the viewers, can you explain what misset lyrics are?
Well, misset is putting the wrong emphasis, putting the wrong accent. Well, putting an accent, I should say, put an accent on the wrong syllable of the word.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, you know, how we say something conveys as much information as what we say, how we say it. So in other words, the great example that I usually use is, there's a tiger behind you.
A tiger.
There's a tiger. Nobody, it's tiger, not tiger. And if I say there's a tiger behind you, for just a minute, your mind is trying to figure that out, and it's too late. You just got eaten. And so the reason why we communicate the way we do when it's done in a way that you want to communicate is to convey information like, there's a tiger behind you, better get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So it takes for just a minute your mind to cognitive dissonance is what it is. It takes for just a second for your mind to figure out, what is he saying there? There's a tiger behind you. It's like glare. For just a second, or feedback on a microphone. You know, it's there, and then it's gone, and it's too late, and you kind of adjust. But for a minute there, something went wrong.
And sucked you out of the song a little bit. Huh?
Big time. And if you want to communicate a meaning as well as a groove and all that stuff, then don't misset, you know, and everybody's doing it. And it's actually become a thing. It's actually become like a song thing to misset a lyric.
Yeah, but for stylistic purposes, right? Like on purpose.
Well, that's what it seems. It's almost like someone said, "Okay, well, watch this then," you know, which I'm not a big fan of. I mean, it's kind of recreating. It's kind of destroying the. I don't understand what the meaning is. If the meaning is important to convey, then I think you say it in a way that you would want to say it. You know, you wouldn't say, "Hi, Ryan, how are you today?" Yeah. "Hey, hi, Ryan, How are you today? 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 As opposed to him. How are you today?
They all have different meanings.
They all do. Depends on where you put the emphasis. And I'll just, as an aside, that's one thing that I talk about in the course is to emphasize each word in a potential title.
Mm-hmm.
Each word that you have in your title, because it could possibly mean many things. Taking over me, taking over me, taking over me. Just taking over you, but you're taking over me. I mean, wow, the me is really the thing that you settled on, and I think that was the best choice. But boy, you could, highlighting every word in your potential title and giving it emphasis can really mean something else. Taking over us, or changing it like that. She's taking over me. He's taking over her. They're taking over us. That mess around with that too. But that's maybe going too far afield. But yeah, missetting. And when it first went down, I don't know that you really misset anything. I said you may have, but it went by so quick and well done that I don't think you did. But if you did, I would go back and look at it. But I understood what you were saying, so probably you did not misset your lyric. I think the challenge is to be rhythmic, to be hip, to be in the same revolution every time, but maybe express whatever you're trying to express in a way that people can understand and maybe connect with, if that's your goal. If your goal is to be ambiguous and not understood, then go for it. Do whatever you want to, but I don't know. It's not my favorite kind of, art form, but.
We should take a minute really quick to tell them about your course, because that's how I actually met you. Songassembly.com, Steve's course, which is a 3-part video series on songwriting, which I took. I watched all of the videos one weekend when I was super sick with a cold and just binged all the way through. And then, but Steve also does one-on-one songwriting lessons as well. And, but yeah, if you guys are interested in learning more about Steve's approach to songwriting and literally from start to finish, basically all of your tricks of the trade.
Well, it's specific. Again, it's I learned a long time ago that you can't teach songwriting. That's like teaching sports.
Yeah, you kind of have to have this base level talent to begin with, right?
No, it's not about talent. I'll explain, because it can be a little ambiguous, I know. But in other words, you can't teach sports. You can only teach a certain sport and certain aspects of sports. How to shoot a free throw, how to, catch a pass, how to, And so with songwriting, I think the mistake with a lot of teachers that one size fits all, that you can teach songwriting by just teaching your genre. And you can't. How can you? Let's talk about the best practices and the best historical examples and the best artists and the best songs that might represent reggae. Okay, now let's talk about bebop, or let's talk about American Songbook, or I mean, it goes on and on and on. The blues. And so you can only teach. You have to be very specific. There's no real generalization. So the course that you took was very specific. The narrative element, how to write a country song, which most people in the world attribute to the idea of a narrative.
Right, storytelling with music.
Yeah. Country songs tell stories. Now, that's done with a Southern accent and a steel guitar, or just a smooth singer and acoustic guitar, or your voice and an acoustic guitar. It's all this. Once you take out those production elements and boil it down to a song that tells a story, usually in a 1, 2, 3 kind of way, beginning, middle, and end, like any narrative. I mean, Aristotle said this in the Poetics, 2,000 years ago. So it's nothing new. But the narrative element of songwriting, how to tell a story with words and music, that's what that was about. Whether you're putting that in a pop production or you're putting that in any sort of production at all, it's how to set up an idea and tell a story, the narrative element of songwriting.
I mean, that's what attracted me to it. Because as a pop musician, I'd write songs, but then realize, a year later, perhaps that the song didn't really make that much sense. It made sense in my mind, but I was making all these leaps, and something that you talk about in your course is just making sure that everything is set up and relates back to the chorus, right?
Yeah, you got 3.5 minutes, and I speak on the idea that limitations are liberating, and I don't know where I read that, but that was something that really struck me. Limitations are liberating, meaning that the fewer choices you have, the deeper you really have to go, and the more fun you'll have, and so the title, Taking Over Me, everything should really keep pointing back to that title, Taking Over Me. And what we do usually starting in the second verse is we get too far afield and we go, what's this song about?
The curse of the second verse.
The curse of the second verse.